Hello, and welcome to my CIS4900 project presentation video. My name is Stefan Mwingira, and I'm going to be walking you through what the project that I've been working on is all about. So, the project is called Find Dining, and it's a full stack web application that lets users search for food and dining spots. And the goal behind it was just to make something that's very simple to navigate, simple to use, which will still have some similar results to applications like Grubhub or Uber Eats, but just more streamlined and more importantly tailored towards college students. So for the first thing that I wanted to do for this project was design a logo just to accompany it, and this is what I landed on. The logo is very simple. It's just a bowl with some food content tilted to about like 30-degree angle, 45-degree angle, and the text "Fine Dining" in orange and blue. The font here is Enter, which is the font type is called Enter. So yeah, this is what I landed on. Um, I was just playing around with some samples of just some food utensils with the letter D with it and see what I can come up with. Some more explorations of the bowl design that I didn't like until I landed on this design here, which is what I ended up using for the final. Here I was exploring some type. Um, but yeah, so that's the first aspect that I wanted to tackle for the project, which was the logo design. Next, we're gonna move towards looking at the actual web design for the project. So if we just open that. So now we're on Figma. This is the software that I use. By the way, I should mention that the first software that I used was Adobe Illustrator to design the logo. Um, Next, we used Figma to design the website, the application itself. Pardon me while I turn off the layout grid here so you can easily see this. So this is the style guide for the application. I wanted to have an idea of what the typography will look like on the application, as well as the colors. Um, I've done some web design in the past, very briefly, and this was some of those things that I picked up on being important to do during the design cycle of a project, especially a web design project or any software design project for that matter. So the type that I picked, again, corresponding with the logo, is called Inter. It's a sans serif type by Rasmus Anderson. Um, Here are the heading tags for the application, what the font size that I landed on, 80 pixels for the main header tag, and the rest are cascading as they go below. Here are the body tag designs as well. Again, same font, just to keep things easy and streamlined. And over here we have the colors that I chose to use for the design. Um, Very mute, simple colors, flat colors, except for the typography, I mean. But for the main colors here, we use some more vibrant colors like this yellow and very rich blue here. And again, very flat, minimal colors for the background styles. Next, we'll look at the wireframing that I did for the app. And this is it. This is the wireframing. As you can see, I also used some um, layouts here. That's a feature of Figma, layout grid, 12 column grid. Um, and it was very useful in being able to orientate things how I wanted them to. So I had envisioned an application that had at most around 4 pages, which I was able to design. So we're gonna have a home page, a search page, a how it works page, and a features page. And the lo-fi design, again, it's just super minimal, um, making sure I'm just blocking things out where I envision where the text will be, where the cards and UI components will be, and things of that nature, where images will be. So yeah, all flat colors, grays, blacks, and colors of that scope. And then next, accompanying each lo-fi design is their corresponding high fidelity wireframe design. And this is just, exploring more of what the text will be, blocking out exactly where the UI components will be. Again, no clear direction on what icons I'm going to use as well. We're not exploring any colors or anything like that. Everything is just mute colors just to demonstrate what I'm thinking in terms of layout. Um, so yeah, this is what we have in the wireframing segment. And as you can see, there's more wireframing here done. And I think it'll be even better if we open this up to the preview mode in Figma so we can take a look. Sorry that this is taking a little longer to load. There we go. So this is just the landing page. This is the wireframe, the lo-fi design. Then here we have the hi-fi design. Again, just more detailed, still using a lot of flat colors, a lot of mute colors. This is the search page for where the search functionality was supposed to land at. This is its corresponding high fidelity wireframe, and so on and so forth. So once I had completed that part of the project, I went on and did the full mock-up design with the colors that I decided on. So here we have the home page fully mocked out and with using the colors with the UI components that I wanted to incorporate as well. Call to action at the bottom there. Again, I'll launch this in preview mode so it's a little bit easier to see what's going on. So here we have the home page now with some copywriting done. Again, I did the copywriting myself as it's been a one-man project. So, and I'm not an expert copywriting in copywriting, I mean, so this could, sound kind of funny or weird, but yeah, so this is just the layout that I decided on. And on the bottom here, we have the testimonials, which I think is important to have for a web application so other people can see what other users are saying about your project. So yeah, now going to the search page. This is basically the search results, what you're going to be seeing. The how it works page, the features page, just describing the features and whatnot. So yeah. And then once we had the full mock-up of the application done, we went on and did some prototyping just to demonstrate how the pages are connected, how buttons, when clicked, link to each other, to other pages and other areas of the web application when you're in each view. So that's kind of how it looks. It's a little messy. This was very hard for me to learn, especially in terms of like being able to animate. But and Figma has grown in terms of features from when I started using it, so it gets a little bit complicated. But we can demonstrate here for 1 second of what I had in mind of what happens when you click a button or two. So if I click the Get Started button, we navigate to the search page, like so, and yeah. And if you click search, you get right down to the results of what you search, and you can search by name, you can search by keyword. So yeah, so that's the full design of the application. Next, I'm going to walk you through the actual source code and the project file itself, and we're going to switch to VS Code. So I used VS Code for the development. I've been using VS Code as my primary IDE for a few years now, so I'm very comfortable. As you can see, the project structure is very simple. We have two main folders here for the client side or the front end, and we have another folder, the source folder for the back end code. We're going to go through the client side first. So under this public folder, we have all our style sheets, our SAS files. Here we can have our mixins, variables. The format that I went through for organizing the SAS files is this format, where we place the different style sheets into subgroups or subfolders that are more related to each other, and then we link them to the main style sheet here in this format, and then we can compile it once that's these external style sheets have been rendered. So in here we have, for example, the mixins, so some of the custom mixins that I created. the variables such as the colors and gradients. In here we have the body configurations as well. And once all that has been compiled, it comes into this CSS, this main CSS file, as you can see here. So we have all the comments for each section, all the custom code, the variables, as well as the creating all the base styles that will be useful when we continue on developing the front end. So that all comes and becomes compiled in this big main style sheet here. So yeah, thousands of lines of code compiled and put together. Furthermore, here we have a JavaScript file, our images that are going to be used, which you'll see in a second once we launch the project to view in the browser. And then that's it. That's pretty much for this folder. And then we also have a views folder, which where all our views live. You see here, for example, this is the index page. It has all the code for the index page, the HTML. We used embedded JavaScript for the front-end framework, for the view engine framework, which is very easy, very seamless to integrate with Node.js. It doesn't require a lot of bloatware. It doesn't require an external server to run. It integrates very seamlessly. So this is where all the views live. Then we have a main project layout file here where we import the fonts, the icons, style sheets, the JavaScript files as well. And we have the rendering formatted for the application in this layout file. We also have an includes folder here that has some small components like the footer as well as the navigation bar, as you can see here. And these just get imported into the main layout file and it will appear in every view that will be rendered in the application. So that's basically it for this side of the projects folder. Here we have the source folder, which has the configurations. And here we just configure some simple dependencies. I configure .env in here as well as the colors dependency, which we use for logging out our errors to the console. Pardon me while I close this. We also have our database configuration here living in an external file itself, which just makes it easier to maintain our code. Here, this format that I'm running here in the source in the back end is something that I learned while learning Express. This format is just compartmentalizing our controllers, the models, the routers as well, and having the server file live on its own. This is the main server file where everything's imported. All the routers are imported. All the routers are enabled through here, or our dependencies are enabled through here and connected to the front end. Here we're setting the view engine stuff. So yeah, that's where all that code lives. And here we have our routers, which again utilize their respective controllers, which live in the controllers folder. So this is just basic Express.js convention. The beauty about Express.js is just it doesn't have like a standard naming convention, so we can use whatever we like to name our files. So here the routers have a .router extension in them, and it doesn't ruin anything. We also have a proc file, which is what we use to connect our application to Heroku, which is how we deployed it. So I'm just telling Heroku here where to find the server file and that you need to run the node command to launch it. And here we have our package.json file that tracks all the packages we have installed, the development dependencies as well as the deployment dependencies. So this is where all that stuff lives. And that's basically it. So I'm going to launch the project now to demonstrate how it looks. So if I run the command npm start, our server will launch. We'll get prompted that the server is running on port 8080, as well that our server has successfully connected to the MongoDB database. And if I open up the browser and go to the localhost port 8080, we see the web application as pretty close to how it was developed, how I designed it. So here it is. Bottom here we have our testimonials, kind kind of an Easter egg, just using some of the professor names from the computer science department. And on the bottom here, we have a call to action. We have a bottom navigation. And if we click this Get Started button, we get taken to the search page. So this is where we can see the search, or we can do our searching and get our results. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to properly configure the search functionality, but the basic idea would be that if you were to search, let's say you want to search for ice cream, you will type that into this field, and when you hit search, you'll be taken to, you'll get returned the results that will show you all the places in the database, or the restaurants in the database that we have that sell ice cream. But below here are all the cards for all the different restaurants that are in the database that you can search for. You can also clear, let's say I type in things at the same time and we hit this clear button, it will clear the database, the form. So yeah, next we can visit the How It Works page. As you can see, very close to the design that I had intended. Again, the components here for the footer and the navigation will always appear here because we have them rendered in the main layout file. Also here we have an accordion that, you know, when you click it expands, and when you click again it collapses. And we have details in here about the application, how it works, about fine dining, the idea behind the project, who made it, what, etc. And we can also visit the features page, which you can see also has an accordion with some its own relevant FAQ questions and some just discussing what the features of the application are. If we click on the GitHub tab here, we get taken to the GitHub repository for the project, which we can see all our source code hosted on here, which is great for us. So when you visit the repository, you get greeted with this README section, which you can see just includes some information about the project, the project structure, you know, what folders are what and what files are what, and some quick start information, again with a link to the Heroku app, which if you click it would pardon me, I'll have to fix that in a second, but yeah, should take you to this link, which you can see that the application has been successfully deployed to Heroku. And again, you can visit the same pages on the web again as you can on the local file. It also tells you the prerequisites for installing the application, how to launch it, the recommended methods, as well as how to visit from the web browser, how to launch the API, and some information about the API endpoints. I couldn't develop the endpoint, the documentation, because I tried using Hopscotch to help me with that, but I think they changed that feature that you can no longer create documentation through Hopscotch. So that was an issue. I couldn't do that, as well as information on currently known bugs, author information, and and the people contributing to the repository. So it's very thorough, very robust README file. We also have a changelog file here that we have posted all the changes that we've done to the project so far, from inception all the way to the current release version, which is version 1.1.1.1. And we can check out here all the releases. We have about 20 release versions. You can see all of them in here being tracked as well. So that's it for the project. That is it for the GitHub repo. Again, you can still visit all the same format folder structure on the repo as you see in the local folder. And that's basically our application project presentation. So I hope you liked hope you liked and enjoyed it, and thank you for taking the time to view my presentation. Again, my name is Stefan Mwingira, and thank you very much.